Good morning. Happy Friday. Hope everyone had a good Thanksgiving. Our Lions couldn't pull it out, but we get kind of used to that. Should we talk about lockdowns in China again over COVID? Nah, kind of tired. Should we talk about retail? Retail earnings season? I know it's Black Friday, but looks like people are going to be out there shopping. What we're going to do the most is we're going to comb the ditches. Markets had a nice rally, new closing high for the move. We're up here, 4,000 handle. I wanted it to hold. It's holding. Let's find some stocks that maybe haven't left the station yet. Mitch, if you're not shopping, could you start the show?
Coming to you live from downtown Detroit, this is Benzinga's Pre-Market Prep with your host, Joel Conan.
This is a volatile puppy here, isn't it?
And Dennis Dick.
I'm bidding a penny. I'd buy that stock for a penny.
With everything you need to start your trading day.
Good morning, astute traders and investors. Let's get things started. We're really not in the red by 5 3/4 handles, as my trade station reflects it. We're actually up on the day. We settled at 33. We're up a little over 3 handles. Overnight, we kissed that PPI high of the move at 50.75, getting to 49 1/4. So there it is. There's your bogey on the upside. On the downside, we're still holding the close on this quiet pre-market session. The dollar's sleepy. That's up a couple pennies at 106. TLT holding holding above $100, down 30 cents at 102.95. Crude trying to get back and make a home in the 80 handle, up a $1.44 at 79.40. Gold quiet, down 450 at 17.50. Silver down 24 cents, 21.29. Bitcoin, we're going to talk about Bitcoin here in a little bit different fashion, down $80 at 16,175. And Ethereum futures, they're down $11.50 at 11.62. Let's bring in our shoppers, Triple D and Money Mitch. And did you guys miss me during the day off?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Okay, not
smashing.
Very convincing. not very
convincing on either of us. I enjoyed my day off. I never get a day off. It felt weird.
It did feel weird.
I was like helping the kids get to school. I was like, this is so weird. I walked the kids to the bus stop, which I never get to do because I'm doing the radio show when they go to the bus stop. It was weird. Weird morning. But what wasn't weird, Joel, was typical Lions fashion, finding a way to lose. That was not weird. That was normal because obviously it looked like, hey, maybe we got a chance here to beat the Bills.
Come on.
They find a way to...
Overtime, you're thinking you're feeling
overtime.
overtime.
Oh, yeah, overtime. We figured, overtime was a given. No, not with the Lions. Nothing is ever a given. So... Always
great question, Dennis. And I thought about this too. What times does the after hours trading end today?
5 o'clock.
Oh,
so it's still a full day for me. But I'm not working till 8 tonight. I only have to work till 5.
4 hours after, right?
Oh, that's right. There you go.
Come on, guys. Come on.
Yeah. Well, I'll be
Money Mitch with the math. That is absolutely correct.
I was in finance. Math was my strong suit. Hopefully it stays that way.
Me too. I tried with the numbers, but.
All right, let's get towards the action. We'll take a look at some stocks today. And of course, today's definitely a day where if you guys have anything that's on your radar, definitely throw it up. We're here for you guys today. Of course, we could have taken the day off, but we didn't want to do that. We wanted to be here with you guys into the market action. Let's go to the first news. Should we do Apple or Tesla? What do you guys think?
I would start with Apple.
All right, let's do Apple here. Let's get it right off the back here. Apple, it seems like more than 20,000 employees, most of them new hires, reportedly left a key Apple supplier main iPhone making plant. Of course, China, after violent protests broke out at the facility earlier this week. over unpaid dues. So it looks like, of course, they're going to be having some issues. How much of this is going to actually affect the production of the iPhone? That's still left up to question here. And it seems to me like we were already worried about the demand of iPhone. Now they can't even get the supply out. I don't know. This is drawing bigger questions than I think.
There's been a lot of
most
negative headlines coming from
are going
Apple.
to.
Nothing crazy, but there's been a lot of negative headlines over the course of last month. And obviously the stock has held up well, continues to hold up well. I'm still hedged. I'm hedged like right from here. I could probably release my hedge at even and just, well, no, a little bit higher even. It was 155,
I think you said.
Yeah, right in there. So I'm actually probably up on the hedge. I could release it, but I'm not feeling that confident here yet. And it's just the rotation, out of higher multiple names. It's funny to call Apple a higher multiple name, but, it still kind of is 24, 25 times earnings compared to where it was. I just, it's not the stock that I think I want to be in. Not right now. There's going to be a time to be back in Apple. There's always a time to be back in Apple, but I just don't feel like this is the one. So with all the little, but the resilience is good. I mean, it's had a lot of negative headlines. The stock has held up fairly well compared to some of the other mega cap tech. It's held up the best. So I like the relative strength. I just don't like the headline flow.
Look at this since going back from mid-September, right? I mean, 155 down to 135, back up to 155, back down to 135, back up to almost 155. So there's we've come off the low nicely. We've gone back down, went back to the October low. I can't remember what the news is. I'm just kind of look at this as like a trading range from right now, and you're kind of at the upper portion of the trading range. It's not up to really like 156, but I haven't seen 2 monthly candles, resembling each other. We're working our way through November. So, 135, that's a rock of Gibraltar on the downside, and I call 155, 156 on the upside. I call that equally as good resistance. So, not really seeing any great levels here today in Apple.
And then jump over to Tesla because this had a nice move. Finally participate in the rally. Finally, after seeming like going down every single day, it had a good Friday. It took an upgrade to kickstart it. Somebody with the guts to come in, give it a vote of confidence, and then the stock is up 20 points from the lows just like that. So it's a nice, basically 10% move off the lows. What's the news here today, Money Mitch?
Oh, I'm such a technical trader. I battled Joel on that rating. I didn't think the rating really got it started.
Yeah, it was the rating, though. It was a backhanded.
I just think it was oversold.
It was, Dennis. It was, Mitch. It was a backhanded.
Yeah, oh, for sure, Mitch. You're both right. It was oversold.
We're both right. It's one of those kind of things.
So stop. Great teaching point.
Yeah.
When a stock is very oversold, it needs a vote of confidence to get itself out of the gutter. That was the vote of confidence to turn it. So it was definitely oversold. It would want to rally. And a lot of times you just need a catalyst. That was the catalyst. This is why just being a technical trader, I think, is not the right choice. Just being a fundamental trader, I think, is not the right choice. Just being a relationship trader is probably not the right choice. Be all of those traders. Have all those tools in your toolbox. Combine them all to get the big picture. Some technicals, some fundamentals, some news flow, relationships always important, some macro. Bring it all together and get your thesis going. But a lot of times when you're looking for an oversold stock, you're like, it's oversold, I'm going to buy it. Wait for the catalyst and then strike. We're talking Tesla here. And they got the catalyst on Wednesday and it never looked back. Money Mitch, what's the news today, though? There's up another $3. What's the news today?
Well, Tesla releasing that its full self-driving beta software is now available to everyone in North America. The announcement comes as Tesla still awaits regulatory approval for its cars to be driven without human control. Dun, dun, dun.
And you've got follow through here. So what we saw and what we will see is Tesla is a leader for growth names. This is going to be a segment that we should talk about for a few minutes here. Tesla is the leader for growth names. It always has been for years. It's finally out of the gutter. There's a lot of growth names that have not really pulled out of the gutter yet. So I think there's a potential trade to go short term into some of the growthy stuff if Tesla can hold up. If Tesla turns around, gives it all back today, then all bets are off. But using Tesla as my indicator, And obviously it came from the catalyst from the upgrade on Wednesday, but doesn't matter where it comes from. It's just showing me strength. ARKK, a little bit of strength. You've got a lot of stocks that are absolutely growthy names that are sitting near the lows. Might be a play to try them. Stop yourself out on the lows. We'll give you a few of those names in a second, but Joel wants to do the technicals on Tesla. The big question is, does the Tesla rally hold, Joel? That's what, we need to find out.
Yeah.
Traded just got over. Oh, mute. No, you got me?
Yeah.
We got you. We got you.
Oh, okay. We traded just over 188 here, up to 188.50. Not seeing anything on the dailies. So I was, hey, let's clear that pre-market high. Very important to clear that pre-market high. Next target on the upside for me would be 192.57. So we'll use that as a potential target on the upside. The other thing too that I wanted to say, it was definitely the Citigroup upgrade, but you had a pretty nice narking on Wednesday, and with Tesla being a big part of the S&P 500. I mean, it was a little rough sledding until the Fed minutes came out, but it's it's a big component of the S&P. So the S&Ps are moving. They got to buy it. They got to move it along. So let's take out that pre-market high. I'll call support down at the close at 183.20, and it was a monster volume day for Tesla on Wednesday. Even though it was an overall slow trading day, traded over 100 million shares.
So let's take this into some of the growthy names that have been just absolutely beat up. I mean, we can look at ARKK. It's a good indicator for it, coming back down right near the lows. Bouncing, though. As long as Tesla holds up, again, I will use Tesla as the indicator for trading this stuff, even early. You don't want to see Tesla have a quick rollover and start losing $5, $6, $7. You want to see some follow through here. There is room for Tesla to 200, but some of these other names have not participated. Look at like a SoFi, sitting right down near the lows gutter. Not saying I'm investing in any of this stuff. No investing. None of it. But saying that if I was short this, I'd be nervous that Tesla's rallying. I'm such a relationship trader. I'm always looking for the leaders to trade the laggards. So you can look at like a SoFi. You can look at a Fubo if you want to see a $2 stock. Right near the lows, 3 lows right in the same area. These could be sleepy little, short squeezes happening this, or potential, short-term day or two rally. Upstart, right near the low. UPST, right near the lows. Like of the recent move here, it's pulled back. Obviously Upstart had the huge move. You can look at Firm as another one, sitting right on the lows, almost triple bottom, Joel, of Firm. 1311, 1330, 1342. I was just writing this list. This is what I do on my Thanksgiving. I write you guys lists. But I mean, on a Firm, stop yourself out at the lows. Maybe just say, hey, if Tesla gets follow through, maybe they start piling into some of the junk. This is junk. But junk can make you money for a day or two. Don't get married to the stuff. But there's been some wicked rallies in some of these things. Carvana, sleepy chart coming up here today. Insider buy on Wednesday. Had a nice day on Wednesday from 670 up to 812. I believe, was that an upgrade, Mitch, on Carvana?
That's
CVNA,
a big move.
Wednesday?
Yeah, if someone upgraded this, I don't know what they're saying.
It was something on Wednesday. There was another catalyst on this one too.
Let's see.
Again, I think Carvana could still be a 0, so you don't want to get married to the stuff. But again, I'm a trader, and I will rent things if I feel like there's an opportunity. I kind of feel like the junk, using Tesla as an indicator, and I will get out of all this stuff if Tesla rolls over and starts losing 10, 15 bucks right after the open. I will roll out of some of this stuff. I'm not in any of these stocks yet. I'm just looking potentially at the open to maybe get in on some of this stuff using Tesla as an indicator. This is talking to you day traders, potential swing traders out there, not talking to your long-term investors. Ignore this conversation, long-term investors. This stuff is all junk. Do not get stuck in it. Do not I bought it for a trade and made it become an investment. Don't let that happen. These stocks are all junk that I'm talking about, but I think there's a possibility that they could rally for a day or two, especially on a light of volume day. It sets up on this day, on these holiday trades, volume lighter, liquidity lower. You sometimes get some wicked little moves and sometimes some junky stocks. So keep that in mind. I think there's an opportunity here for some of these stocks. And again, I'm talking a short-term trade. Spinner saying, what happens to new lows, DD? I'm a trader. I change my mind. I flip. This is how I make money. I flip. That's why it's important to listen to the show every day. I'm saying I've got a short-term potential,
yeah,
not saying for sure, potential 24, 48-hour trade here in some of these things. Potential.
And you know
Don't
what
get
the nice
stuck in
thing
them, though.
the nice thing about all these that you brought, you have an out. You know,
Yeah,
it's
at the
not
lows.
like, yeah, you don't. I mean, it's not like it's like I look at this upstart for some reason. This upstart, because kind of the three lows in the same area. You know, if you're not worried about it filling the gap there, I mean, you got three lows in the same area, so that's identifiable. Arc has been a little bit a tougher one. I didn't really see anything. Let me see if there's any good levels in here for ARKK, but they're trades. And, you know, if they go red or they take those lows out, I mean, you got to give yourself a little bit of room, right? I mean, you can't, put your stop, right, boom, right at it. But, ideas. And there's some good ones, Des. And, we haven't had, I mean, I hate to say this, I'm going to bite my tongue saying it, but like we haven't had any of those like crazy, short squeezes or any big moves lately. It's just kind of been a steady up
decline.
in
We're
the market.
oversold. To as much as Mitch's point, Mitch, we're taking back to your technicals. We're oversold on Tesla. We're oversold on all these stocks I just mentioned. Way oversold. Could there be that little potential 15, 20, 30% pop in some
Who
of these
knows?
names in a few days? It's happened before. It could happen again. So let's just set up some of those specific trades. Like a Fubo, I'm not in it. No trade yet, but I'm thinking about it. 269, the low of the move. If you're buying at 283, I'd stop out at 268. To Spinner's point, stocks making new lows, you got to go. But I see a triple bottom here, and I have something to lean on. So if all of a sudden, Tesla rolls over and Tesla will be your leader, then, this may just turn around and take out the lows and it may be junk. And then you're going to stop yourself out and lose your 3%.
I'm looking at some growth names maybe that actually gave a little bit of that spike on the kind of the 14th run,
Sure.
like Square or Unity. Those are two that I would call
Unity's
out.
Been running.
And so Unity already made that nice move on Wednesday, but I would look for maybe to see if it takes out those daily highs. And then Square seems to be interesting for me too. After it pushed up to 75, came back now below 65. We'll look to see if we can take out 65 today.
Same
Let's see what Marc thinks. Let's bring Marc in. This is Marc Chaikin of Chaikin Analytics. We got him on a Friday instead of a Thursday. Do you have a little something, a little intro?
Always, Joe. Come on.
Okay, come on with the intro.
All right, let's get it going.
Nice.
How we doing today, Marc? How was the holidays?
Holiday was great. Great. Ended up with bourbon at 1 a.m. So.
Wow.
There you go.
That's how you do it.
It's a bourbon.
Pinkies up. What's your bourbon of choice? We got a bourbon of choice? Come on.
We do. It was. Got to remember.
I'm a big Woodford.
We had Woodford. We had a bourbon bar because my nephew's here and he's a Navy pilot, and the Navy pilots love bourbon.
Oh, of course, a double Woodford. Oh, I have it waiting for me already. But Let's get towards the market action. Looks like Dennis is taking a look at a little bit of maybe some growth bouncing. We've seen value really strong lately. What are you seeing out there, Marc?
I listened to that conversation, and to me, it's like rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic.
There's a point here. That's why I'm not talking to the investors. I was trying to be very clear.
I think you're swimming upstream here. You've got 80% of the S&P above their 50-day average, and it's hanging up there for 4 or 5 days. It's almost never done that before. So you're looking at the worst stocks in an overbought market. And I just think that's a prescription for disaster.
Again,
even as a trader, I know you're a trader, but why take a low percentage bet? And I don't think your risk is 3% because
does it not scare you though, Marc? When you have Tesla move up 20 points in a day, does that not scare you to a certain extent that hey, maybe some of these stocks are oversold? Because I'm a relationship guy. I don't give a crap really too much about the technicals. A little bit, I watch it. I don't care about this, but I do watch relationships. I know Tesla leads a lot of that stuff. I see Tesla have a 13% bounce in a day. It makes me take note on some of the other crap.
I know, but you're looking at a very quiet period in the market with volume.
I like that.
No,
Because
hey, look,
that's when they move.
as a trader, I take my hat off to you. That's a young man's game, but and our viewers are young, so that's good. I just Elon Musk has more problems than a 90-year-old guy who's just fallen down the stairs, and I don't. He's distracted, and I don't see Tesla going anywhere except a short covering bounce, which is a great thing. But look at the time of the year and the volume and volatility. Doesn't appeal to me. I'm looking for stocks to buy here on dips that could, if we extend the rally out, make new highs into year end.
Okay,
so I'm
well,
looking
let's take it to the momentum trades, because this was a contrarian conversation for the last 15 minutes.
Yeah, clearly.
Let's move into the momentum stocks, the ones that are strong. Give us a few of those names here, Mark, because I like that too, and I like those longer term. Yeah, I like the value stuff longer term.
I think a swing trader. I recommended Interactive Brokers on Wednesday in our monthly newsletter.
That's an interesting one.
Nice pullback.
That's my broker.
Yep. They're starting to separate themselves from the day trading pack. They never were really the day traders, but their whole business model has survived the bear market. And I've always believed that other than the defensive stocks, the stocks that can perform well in the latter stages of a bear market are your leaders coming out. And so IBK to me looks interesting as a pullback kind of stock. I still like the energy stocks, and even with the price of crude way down, you've got Oxy. Someone just raised their target on Oxy by 10 points this morning. EQT and the natural gas. These are just, to me, these are core portfolio names. Valero, I think, absolutely critical name. And rather than watch Tesla for what you're trying to do, I'd rather watch Amazon, because Amazon, we know, has a proven business model. The question is it profitable at retail? And Amazon is really going nowhere. So I'd rather maybe you pair Amazon up with Tesla. I don't want to.
I'd pair those up. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd pair them right now.
If they're both in sync, fine. But I mean, look at that Amazon chart. We had 7 deliveries on Wednesday. 7 from Amazon. So we're using it.
Oh, yeah, you are. Yes. You personally had 7 deliveries. Yeah.
Yeah. But
no, he made 7 deliveries.
Yeah. Well, hey, they use flex drivers now. Do you have any idea some of the cars that pull up to our driveway in the country? Someone's got a BMW SUV. I said, nice car. He said, yeah, well, I do this just to pick up gas money. And they're making one-off deliveries for Amazon because the trucks are breaking down and so forth. But I think this market has a little bit of upside up to the 200-day, and there's a really wonderful trend line on the SPY that comes in at around 40.50, and the market can easily penetrate that and suck in some bulls, penetrate the 200-day, which is in that area as well. But I do think that the market's going to do what it wants to do. The Fed is going to do what it has to do, and they're still playing hopium with a slowdown. Slowdown doesn't cut it. Bear markets end when the Fed cuts rates, not when they slow down the pace of increases.
So you're looking at this as another just dead cat bounce, another bear market rally to take advantage of and exit into strength into the end of the year, and then and you'll maintain that outlook for 2023, because if that's the case, I don't think this market, if what you're saying is true, then this market is not going to turn for a long time, because first they got to start, stop going up, then they got to hold steady. And then I don't think, just like we saw those crazy rates in the 80s and stuff, double digits, near 1%. I don't think we're going to see that either. I think we're going to find, over the next 5 to 10 years, find just some kind of equilibrium, and people are going to just have to be content, with what, 3, 4, 5%. I don't see the cutting rampage. If you wait for that for a turn, then I don't think we're going to get one.
And I don't think core inflation is ever going to go back to 2%. I think you're looking at a 4% inflation rate probably.
Ever?
Well,
I
ever's
agree.
a long, long time, right?
I think Mark's right. I think there's very little chance. We never were at 2%. Let's call it honestly. Like, the way they calculate it,
Yeah,
we
it's
were
an
this
average.
2%
Yeah.
number is like just
2%.
fugazi and BS.
But
We
by
were
the way,
never at 2%.
Joel, I'm a little more bullish than that based on the election year cycle. I mean, I always said, don't listen to what an analyst like me is saying now. Go back 2 weeks to see what they were saying, or back 2 months. We've had this roadmap of the election year rally beginning in mid-October. Guess what? That's when the bottom was. But then we always tend to fine tune it, maybe screw it up, maybe not. Long bear markets are tough. But if I went back to my roadmap from February of 2022 or July, we basically said lower lows. We got them in September, October, and then 30 to 50% rally. So it's possible. But I think even in the scenario I outlined with the interest rates and inflation, we could make the low in February and then still fulfill this election year cycle promise of the third year in the cycle being the big up year. So we'll have to see. I mean, there's so many variables between the macro, the earnings picture. We haven't really seen earnings drop off. Now, maybe we won't. Maybe we won't go into a recession, but those are a lot of maybes. If you look under the surface, corporate earnings have held up because people have been able to push through price increases.
And they've been borrowing against their credit cards.
Yeah, well, for sure. And you're paying their electric bills. One-off anecdotal, Connecticut, Eversource, our electric company here, raising rates 50% on January 1.
Yikes.
So that's tough. And people, like I'm renewing my annual fuel contract for heating the house, heating oil. So what do? Do I lock in, the high prices here, and they're 20% higher than they were a year ago.
All right,
it's going to bite.
Chat's asking here if you like any retail stocks going into maybe a Santa Claus run. Anything in there in that space, Marc, you like?
Well, actually, they're acting better. What's interesting, and I don't know if it's going to play out this year, retail actually does very poorly historically between Thanksgiving and Christmas. So you've got some headwinds of seasonality there. Best Buy looks great right now. Some of the specialty retailers look really good, but if you look back at seasonality on the retailers, they do not do well historically between Thanksgiving and Christmas. They do well in the run-up to Thanksgiving, anticipating, Black Friday now and Cyber Monday and whatever else happens in December. But Best Buy is looking great, and so there are some really nice retail stocks. Let me just drill down on Chaikin Analytics, and I'll tell you what has bullish ratings. But Dennis or Joel, do you know that pattern of retail underperforming between Thanksgiving and Christmas?
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I mean, the way this retail earnings season's been, it's just been, you're hot or you're not.
Yes.
There's been,
Yeah.
it's really been different. But I just
Very
wanted
much.
to go back, to the oil trade here for 1 second. I mean, I can't remember, a period, and we know the reason because they're low PE stocks. They're being bought on these dips, but that the separation between the price of crude oil and the way like Dennis brought up the XLE, what that's done since crude topped out at 120. Do you think that is this just a pattern that's here that's going to continue to stay here, or do you think that there's a point where 75 or 70 or 65 or something where it's going to start having a negative impact on these big oil stocks?
Well, that's a possibility. I do think that, the fact that the XLE is held up reflects what's going on in Europe and in Russia. So you've got some big macro political influences affecting the price of oil, and also the shortages that are creating, real pain in Germany and in Europe. So I think, and you've got diesel shortages here in this country. I mean, if you read the alarmists, we're going to run out of diesel fuel, which is not good for the trucking industry or the railroad industry. So I think there are two dynamics going on. One is the actual price of crude, and the other is the supply for the finished product. And boy, Europe is hurting. If they get through this winter without mass freezing deaths, and I mean, there are some countries recommending that people do something strange to avoid burning energy. I don't know, maybe wear hats or something, earmuffs.
Okay. What about we talk about combing the ditches here and everything? What a horrible year for China and the Chinese stocks here. Are
Oh
you gonna
gosh.
be in the camp of stay away from them as well? Alibaba and the FXI. I mean, are you in the camp stay away from those too, or just a horrible year just overall? I mean, horrible couple years. What's your outlook on China moving forward?
I'd rather zero in on a couple of stocks with bullish power gauge ratings. So JD.com is one of them, and
Okay.
that looks interesting. I don't know what's going on in China. Alibaba has a bullish rating in our work. It has
Really?
has off and on since June. So even it was making new lows as soon as it broke sort of the long-term downtrend about call it week and a half ago, it picked up a bullish rating in Chaikin. So yeah, there are selected names that really look interesting. Some of them are small cap, some of them you can't be confident about the accounting or what they're going to do to Yo-Yo Ma or whoever is getting fined $1 billion. It's actually Jack Ma, but there's fun. PDD has a really good chart. That might be the best. That's China, isn't it?
Yeah, Pinduoduo. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that chart's looking a bit better.
PDD has the best chart of any of the Chinese tech.
Some of these stocks have come. I think it's interesting. I like your JD setup because we got a low to lean on. I take it back 2 days ago. You got the 49.87 low. You're pulling back on the lockdown fears again, but they've been buying these pullbacks on the lockdowns. So some of these names have turned to a certain extent. Not talking long term here because I still think there's some issues, but short term trading setups here. I mean, even seasonality, Mark. Like you can talk about retailers, but I mean, historically speaking, this run from Thanksgiving into the Christmas is usually fairly strong, is it not?
It is, but there is a hiatus sort of mid-month. So, this is all very short term, but yes, this is a strong period seasonally and in the midterm election year. So there's a lot going for the market in the next month, including hedge funds that are leaning the wrong way, haven't had a good year, have a year to make it up before they get redemptions. So, there are some bullish influences here from a flow point of view that could take this market a little higher and maybe squeeze some, not the shorts, but squeeze the macro bears who have, still have the short growth, long value trade on.
Bottom line, it's just a tricky market to call because I can see arguments both ways, and this is why I've flip-flopped a lot in the last couple of months here too. It's a tough market to call. We've kind of been randomly moving. We get a headline, from a corp, and we knock the market down a little bit. Then we get a light CPI number. They were rallying it. I mean, it's been a tricky news flow. Like Tommy Lackey was on this, called it tape bombs, and we've been seeing a lot of that too. And it's hard to get these good technical setups when you get a major piece of news, or you get something from a major company, or you get just something Fed speak. I mean, it seems like we have Fed speak every other day. It's hard to just trade something technically right now.
Well, not only do we have Fed speak every day, but we have computers that are programmed with algorithms to pick up on every other word they say.
Yeah.
And I think Powell would really be better served to put a muzzle on these people.
Yes.
I mean, talk about difficult trading. Regular investors are having a hard time figuring this out. Well, one day as a stock is up 10%, next day it's down 5%, just because there's some swing in the algos.
Yeah, it's really difficult.
But that's why you got to really. That's the biggest problem I have with this bottom fishing is that it takes you off course. to make money in this market, you want to buy quality stocks on dips. If you're very conservative, you look for the stocks with the dividends, and you buy them on weakness. The pharma stocks on weakness, I think, are great buys.
Right.
And I've said that too. And I think if I'm building my long-term portfolio right now, I think I'm totally with Marc. So take the trading cap off, forget about the 48-hour trade. And that's why I said before I started that segment, long-term investors stop listening right now, because I don't want people getting confused and say, oh, Dennis is bullish. And they will. They'll come out, oh, Dennis is bullish all this junk here right now. And then somebody will come out after it goes down 2 months from now. They'll say, well, you were bullish that stuff that day. I think I'm clearly trying to say, I feel like there could be a little bit oversold here and there could be a bouncing opportunity. And if you're short, maybe it's a good opportunity to cover, maybe redeploy after, we get a little bit of a rally here. Some of the stuff's just oversold.
Yeah, I mean, here, do we have any conservative viewers who watch? People who invest
we do
for the long term. Well, take a look at a stock called ET, Energy Transfer, 8.5% dividend, a lot of coverage, pipeline type. I think it's a partnership, so you do get a return at the end of the year. It's an LP, but it's midstream energy services, and it's got a great yield in a market where yield is important for a lot of people, a lot of retired people. It's got good institutional sponsorship, and it's a way to play the energy market without having the outsized risk of some of the bigger names, and the dividend is just fabulous. And
this is
not
a Kramer play as well. Kramer.
Oh no!
It is a Kramer play. Warning, Will Robinson. This is a Kramer play.
What about the airlines or cruise lines? The travel stocks. I mean, I know that they've had some nice. Actually, I haven't looked at Delta lately here, but no good ratings on those.
Well, the cruise lines are actually outperforming the market here. They bottomed in late September, ahead of the October low in the market, and they're doing great. But
they're hanging in there.
Yeah, and they've actually picked up some institutional flow, and the only thing that's missing are the fundamentals. The airlines are doing well also here.
What about just the year-end tax selling? And you think that's something that's going to just keep a cap on the rally? Like people are like trying to wiggle out and clean up their portfolios. Is that something you think that might mute the year-end rally a little bit?
I think that's what we've been seeing actually for the last week. That's why I think there's a lot of people who still respect the 30-day rule, and in terms of wanting to replace something but take the loss now. So I think a lot of people did that in the last 10 days, but that's always a possibility in a bear market. Thing is, in this market, there's so many stocks making new highs in the industrial sector, aerospace, defense, energy, things like Cummins engine that we've talked about here, and Timken roller bearing. So this isn't your grandmother's bear market where everything was making new lows. There'll be some tax selling, but that was tech, and now you've already got short covering. So hard to pin down the influences on the market. As Dennis was saying, this is a tough market.
All right, that's going to do it for us today. Like always, you guys can check out Chaikin Analytics yourself. Appreciate you, like always, coming on here. Marc Chaikin, we'll definitely have you back on, and enjoy your weekend.
By the way, I would have slept till 10 o'clock if we hadn't done
this. Go shake those cobwebs out, Marc.
Yeah, I got to go walk my dog.
I could go to sleep too. I'm tired.
Bloody Mary.
A little bourbon action.
Bloody Mary. Get a Bloody Mary going.
I figured if you're going to get sleepy from turkey, you might as well get sleepy for a good reason, which was it was Blanton's, by the way.
All right. Sounds good to me. Like I always say, pinky on up a little bit. You enjoy that, Marc.
Hey, guys.
Put in the hard work. Thank you, Marc.
Well. Thanks, Marc, for the extended session here.
Oh, my pleasure. I love it. You guys are great.
What do you see out there, Dennis? It's a
leaky.
Leaking. Yeah.
And definitely tech driven. We're definitely seeing a lot of the tech. Apple probably leading the charge
that Apple
on the
news.
way down. That's probably leading the charge.
Yeah.
And you're actually seeing retailers not that strong here. Sometimes you come in and the retailers are popping because it's Black Friday and they get all excited. People are shopping. They're thinking about retailers. It's very sleepy. There's a very sleepy market here. And what that just means is quiet. There's not much going on. Kind of mixed. I see the banks trading a little bit higher. I see basically, opposite of what, what I'm talking about here. I'm just wondering after the open if it can change or not. But again, keep an eye on Tesla. That's an important stock today. I do like the Teslas up here again. Not seeing, any of the growth stocks rallying here this morning. So we're definitely buying on dips here, at least this morning. Again, if I'm doing any of those trades I was talking about earlier, you got to respect the lows. As Spinner said, when stocks making new lows, you got to go. Some of these stocks that I've mentioned are right near the lows. So just saying I've got defined risk. Like an Upstart, I was setting that. I set up the Fubo Upstart 1780. That's low of the move. You're picking this up 1830, 1840, 1820. I'd stop up below 1780 because I don't want to get below that. Just hoping for the follow through from potential Tesla or some sleepy markets, but it could go the other way and it could pull back. And that's why you've got to have good risk management. It's okay to be wrong. It's not okay to stay wrong.
All right, let's keep going. We can also take a look. Do you feel that Activision will keep falling?
Oh, yeah, we should talk about that.
The FTC could potentially block the Microsoft takeover. It was getting hit this pre-market. I feel like it might not move in the actual market, but what do you think here, Dennis?
I was trading this and watching it after hours on Wednesday when that news broke, and they hit it down, I believe, all as low as 72. They've already come back and bought it here this morning. It probably overshot when it got down to 72. One consideration is look at where EA was, when this merger got announced. So we'll take us back. I'm going to go back to the charts, but
I can do it.
EA really hasn't sold off a hell of a lot since Activision got announced. I mean, that they're obviously getting bought by Microsoft. Activision was 62, 65. Obviously got the big pop-up, 72, 75. I mean, Activision isn't going to be one. This isn't like Twitter. If this deal doesn't get approved, this isn't going, I don't think, to 50 or 55. I think it's kind of going back to where it was. So I think the downside here, if this deal doesn't go through, is 60 to 65. The upside, if it goes through, is 95. So as you start getting down to 70, you got like 25 points upside, 7, 8 points downside. Even if you're getting a negative headline, that could be an opportunity for a risk arb to get in it. So they're not saying this deal is dead. They're saying they may fight it. But, I think there's about, at 74, there's probably 10 points downside, 20 points upside. It's not bad. Down at 72, I like it more. Down at 70, I like it even more. I don't think, and I think that's why Warren's still in it too, because even
he was in it before.
He bought more though after. And I believe the commentary was that he likes the company. So, I mean, he's probably saying, hey, Microsoft doesn't buy it. That's okay. I still like the company. I still like the company too, Activision Blizzard. I think it's a good company. I think down at 60 to 63 is obviously, I think, the lower end if the deal doesn't go through. So I think 10 points up or 10 points down, 20 points up. As it comes lower, it sets up more as a buy than a sell.
Look at this real quick. Just looking at this Take-Two here. It got taken down probably on its earnings, and now it's come back up. So just keep an eye on 104.05. You didn't quite get there in Friday's session, or Friday, messed up. Wednesday.
It messes me up too.
I know. But I keep an eye on that Take-Two Interactive, getting into some open space there. As SPs, we're making new lows just incrementally. No, we're not down 12 handles. We're down $1.50 because they took the mark off the 1 p.m. print yesterday when the market traded up.
That's confusing.
Dazed and confused.
All right, let's keep going. We'll take a look at Man U, still trading higher off of reports, of course, of potential selling. The company announced process to explore strategic alternatives. We'll see what happens in this Man U trade. I got in it on Wednesday, wrote it up there for a nice little win. But I think this is definitely more like the buy the rumor, sell the news type of trade here. And then when you get the news, it's going to be very tough to react to it. So as you keep trading it, just remember that you could get hit with the actual news. And we don't know the price. There's no rumor on the price, right? And I think that I'm just leaving that up for you guys to determine if you want to keep going after it.
If I was long this, I would be selling it as fast as I possibly could, because this is now a ridiculous move off of a rumor. We just went from $13 to $20. We went up 50%, more than 50% here on a rumor. When stocks go up 50% on rumors, I sell them. So I don't think you stick around hoping for 25. Maybe it happens, but they pull, all of a sudden it comes out and there is nothing behind or substantial behind this. Stock's back at 14. So in this market, you take the gains while you got them and the market takes them for you. I would be selling Manu as fast as I possibly could. I don't like shorting stocks that are in play because then it gets taken over 25 or 30. But I'd ring the register. If you got in at 14 or 15 or 16 on this rumor, congratulations. Mitch, congratulations. Fantastic trade. Are you out now, Mitch?
Yeah, I just day traded it on
There you go.
Just
so
bang in,
I
bang
think
out.
playing
Boom, boom.
rumors are fine. Don't get married to these positions because
Definitely.
sometimes they don't materialize. I think it's time to ring the register on this.
Pre-market high 2088. Really, what's this on the monthlies here? I'm just looking at it technically. Ooh, 2086. That was your September of 2021 high.
Looks like there is a rumored price out there, 7.5 billion. Someone's mentioning there, so we'll see what happens.
Where would that bring it?
I also saw 4 billion and 5 billion. So there's a couple of mentions out there.
What's the market cap right now? So this is a stock I rarely look at. What's the market cap right now?
Give me 1 second. I have 2.5 billion.
Well, somebody's saying 7.5 billion is hopes and dreams. They don't give 300% premiums in bear markets. So
I think it
we're
might
not
be
2020 anymore.
maybe
so that's
4.
just hopes and dreams.
2.5 billion is where it's at right now on cap.
Yeah. So you think it's tripling from here and getting taken out at 60? I'll say you're crazy. I don't think that happens at all. I think it gets taken over. I don't think it's even above 25. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't even think it's above 25 because when they do these takeovers, they do from when the price, the rumors broke. So they'll say, the premium was from the $14 to $13 was trading on prior to dissemination of the rumors breaking. And that's a hell of a premium, an 80, 90% premium. So I think 25 would even be a gift. $60, $50, $40 is hopes and dreams, social media, just social media BS is what that is in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think there's any chance it gets taken out that high. I don't follow the company closely. I know it's a soccer team. I don't watch the World Cup. I'm not a huge soccer fan. I never was. So nothing against Man U, but just saying that, hey, this is a big move off a rumor. I ring the register on that.
Yeah, I don't think they'll get that much, but we'll have to wait and see. Of course, this is definitely a rumor type of stock. So with rumors, you know how it is. They're just worth as much as they're worth, right? Until they're not. And then boom, it gets hit. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there. Another one that's making moves on rumors is Coupa software, right? Coop. We can take a look at that. Just give me a second to pull up the chart. Seems like Joe has something there. So let me just pull up my chart here. But Coop software is definitely making big moves following a Bloomberg report that the private equity firm Vista Equity Partners was considering a buyout of Coupa. I just think Coupa Troopa, but what do you think about
I think Coupa Troopa too when I look at
That's all I can think about.
Same thing. Big move on a rumor. Premium could be more on something like this because this is obviously been really beat up here. So I don't think it applies that if this got taken over, it could be 70 or 75 or even 80. So there is a little bit upside here as opposed to the Man U that's had such a huge move. Percentage basis, a big move too, 20%, but it's not like 50% like in the case of Man U. A lot of times these rumors don't materialize. It's been the play to just fade them. Not saying short it, but saying I'm in it. Long, you were lucky. It's a nice pop. I'd ring some. I'd take some of the money off the table at least in this one.
Yeah, I'd maybe be looking to pull back for some kind of prior range, maybe a quick pullback and then kind of a red to green action. But I don't expect it getting too much higher. Even if I was in this one, maybe 65 on the very top, maybe 70. But I don't expect to see even that. One thing to look at is you did get a lot of volume. So we'll look to see if it does make a pullback right now. But Coop has been kind of pushing. Right now, I'd say around 58.40s is acting as support. We'll see if it cracks down, makes a red to green action. That's what I'd be maybe looking for on Coop. I know a lot of people like this one a while back, but not really one that I kind of stick close to. Next one we'll talk about is Bed Bath & Beyond. As Bed Bath & Beyond wrote here that this is reporting from Wall Street Journal that the houseware retailer is struggling to keep its stores stocked. They came out with some statistics that about I think it was 30 or 40% of their products are out of stock. They're definitely struggling here. Will we see this company maybe completely disappear?
I think so. I think eventually it's a zero. I'd be scared to be short it just because we get these crazy pops in this thing. And this is one that I was just saying earlier. It could be sleepy. It's beat up. It's near the lows. It's oversold. Could have bounced to 3 to 4 in a hurry. It could. So you just got to be careful with this, but don't get married to this one. My opinion, just my opinion, BBBY is eventually a zero. That's just my opinion, though. I don't know that the road to zero has a lot of pops in it, just like Carvana. The road to zero has had a lot of pops, tradable pops here. I wouldn't want to be short it right now because I'm saying some of this sleepy stuff is starting to show a little bit of life just in the last 24 hours of trading, really. Obviously, this morning and taking us back to Wednesday. So I'd be careful here if I was short it, but long term, no, thank you.
Yeah, and it also gets to a point like how much more do you have on the outlook if we are short here, right? It's $3.41. There's not that much downside. I think the risk on the upside of pops just gets a little bit too risky because you could get an easy pop towards prior support. Maybe that's a pop to $4.50, $5. I think that's too much risk to be short here. But like always, you guys make your own risk assessment. All right, let's go ahead. We'll do some stocks from the chat. It's 8:52. We got about 8 minutes left here. So we'll take some stocks from the chat. You guys out there throwing up some stocks. So it looks like some people are taking a look at, we do Matthew's Bank of America outlook here. Let's take a look there. BAC, what do you guys feel about Bank of America? Did a nice little pullback. Will it come back? What are those highs?
Just quiet. I mean, a couple ranges, quiet, hanging up near the high of the move. Really doesn't want to go anywhere. I'd say on the upside, I'd keep an eye on 38.30. That's a pair of highs. It's about 60, 70 cents away. And then just looking at the high close of the move is up there too, 38.41, and not really seeing any clear support on this one. So Bank of America kind of boring right now. That's what I'm seeing.
Very quiet here, but again, these are the kind of names, to Mark's point, these are the kind of names that I am buying on pullbacks on the longer term accounts. If I was buying, and obviously, we've run quite a bit, so I want a significant pullback here, but it's sleepy, consolidating. It's the kind of stock that's working here right now. Take us just to the seasonality here, Joel. We know, when do we get the next CPI data point? That could be a turning point too. When's the next one?
So I think that's the second week in December, but I'll give you
So
the
you're a long
exact
ways away from that.
Yeah.
There's still this buy the dip mentality out here right now. Obviously not in all names, but in a lot of names, and the value names especially. You're in a seasonally strong period for the market. So I don't think this is just like roll over and die, all these things.
Doesn't feel like
unless
it.
there's some macro tape bomb, like Ukraine, China. Unless there's some macro tape bomb that comes in, it feels kind of like not necessarily safe, but safer than it was to be trying the long side and buying the dips on some stocks because we don't get that next CPI data point for another couple of weeks. If that next CPI data point comes in hot, that would be a very bad scenario because then they say, oh, it was a one-off. So, I mean, it's very important, but you don't have a lot of, you're out of earnings season. You don't have a CPI data point for a bit. I don't see the potential. I don't see the obvious tape bomb coming at us here, which makes me a little more confident to try some longs. Not getting married to them, but to try some longs.
I can't say you're wrong in that outlook. I mean, the overall outlook is that I don't think the Fed's going to give us anything different. Everyone's expecting that 50 basis point hike rate in December. CPI can definitely change things up, but of course, another thing that I think is going to happen here is I do expect a little bit of a rally, followed by, again, another dip coming because of the headwinds. So I think that, we can't get too excited, but we got to enjoy the rides up when we can get them, right? We got to try to make some money, especially as traders, on these kind of flips towards the upside. And I do agree with you, Dennis, right now. Still the path of least resistance, unless something comes in and tape bombs us, is towards the upside.
Feels higher.
Yeah.
It feels like the path of least resistance in the short term is higher. And as much as I want to be a bear, I've been a bear a lot of times on this show in the last year. As much as I want to be a bear, the tape is still telling me in a lot of stocks, especially some of these value names, that it's hard to be a bear. But then you see like a unity. You're seeing pockets of strength and growth. And this is how it starts. It starts with pockets of strength. And then people start noticing. It's like a matter of like starting to notice. Like that unity which I screwed up, obviously. I sold it way too soon. I bought it. It was oversold. I actually got it near the bottom, sold it, and now it's 36, and I'm like, why did I sell that? So, but there's a lot of other ones that have come all the way back down. I think Unity's got, the software, the metaverse story still too. It's one of the first that turns around on story. But maybe some of these other sleepy stories could get hot for a couple of weeks. We were saying 24 to 48 hours, but maybe there's a 1 or 2 week trade here on these things. Maybe a 3-week trade. We set up well. We don't set up that well for the shorts, in my opinion. That's all I'm saying.
No, the Bulls, at least
I think
from
the Bulls
Wednesday,
are somewhat in control.
Yeah, the Bulls did in control. And also the other thing that I like to keep an eye on is the average daily ranges. I mean, everyone has their own, personal VIX. But we just been coming in. We've been coming in. It's been calmer. The ranges have been coming in. Of course, the apple cart can always be upset, but
Yes.
that's one good thing that the volatility is coming in. Just a little bit. We're hanging here just a little bit below unchanged. 34 minutes into the regular session. Boy, a lot of stocks popping up here to take a look at.
This is an interesting
MDT. Let's look at Medtronic.
Medtronic.
Ask for Medtronic. Oof. I don't know.
See much
Got
there.
whacked the other day. Big gap. You can lean on the low of the move, trading up 21 cents. What was that news? That news on Monday. That must have been earnings or whatever. But this one, only one level here to lean on. That's the low of the move from Tuesday.
Not a stock chart that I like by any means to the upside, but you do got some monthly support. Maybe you start seeing some month turnaround. But with stocks like that, with a monthly chart like that, weekly chart like that, it seems really weak to me. But like always, you guys choose your own on that. MDT. What about MBLY, the Mobileye?
Still mad that I didn't get shares of this. Still mad that everybody says,
you're going to join the party, though?
Because you own Intel.
Well, are you going to join the party and actually get some shares?
You know what? You got to look.
Oh, no. Did we just get Rogered? I think we got Rogered.
Oh, boy.
Roger Rogers. Roger. Come in, Roger.
I don't know. This has happened to him a couple times.
Houston.
Too.
Growthy,
he's back. He's back. You got Rogers there for a second there.
Yeah, Dennis, you got Roger there.
Did I get Roger?
Yeah, you got Roger there for a second.
We got Roger and Comcasted.
Yeah, what's going on, man?
When can we get the Tesla internet? Because it's going to be way more stable, I think. I want the internet from
Elon.
Musk. Give me that stuff.
Save
the
me.
Satellite internet, I'm ready, Musk, because Roger sucks. Comcast sucks. Me and Joel are ready for Elon Musk internet.
All right, let's go back to it.
Today.
Mobileye. You need a Mobileye with this internet.
I kind of like it. I kind of like it.
Yeah, what a... This thing is
sleepy.
volatile, huh? Yeah. I don't know, the old, maybe we'll get Eric Cole on to talk about this one. There hasn't been many IPOs or spin-offs or whatever. Boy, oh boy, 25 to 32, right? 28.5. I mean, that if you look at all the sloppiness there, holding 28.5, it's held that on just on one day. The range, yesterday's low was around 28. So I like to see a nice sustained bid above 28.5 and get back and maybe test that the high, the all-time high, just under $32.
I kind of like this one myself too. I like somewhere between 29 and 28. So looking for between that, going to be looking at around 28.50s to see if we can do a red to green on that. But also remember, this is lower volume. So be careful on a name like this. The spread is a little wide. See, they're already about almost 30 cents there for a $29 stock. That's a pretty wide spread there. So be careful. All right, let's take another one. What else we got here in the chat? FDX. This is an interesting one. Nando wants to take a look at. I've been watching the industrials come up. I saw FedEx do a little bit of a pullback on the daily, and now look at it trying to push here. Could it fill that big gap there? Could FedEx get up there to 200?
Interesting.
I don't know. It seems interesting to
I'm
me.
worried about another tape bomb from them. That's the only
Yeah.
problem with FedEx, because obviously we got the tape bomb back in September, October, November. You set in the tape bomb season pretty soon with FedEx. Value name, lower PE, little bit of a dividend, kind of the stock that they want right now, but the thing just got hit so hard. There's so much bloody overhead supply. Gets interesting above 180.
Yeah, you have the pair of highs from last week right there, just under 180, 179.51. So sleepy couple days in this one, not much resistance after that. And then let's just take a look at UPS. That's getting real close to its gap fill. Going back, I don't know if that was when they got FDX bombed, but 184.58. That fills the gap from September 15th. And you had your close that day at 185. So getting much closer up to that gap fill than FDX. So, all right, guys, I'm going to let you finish it up here on this Friday. There'll be no at the close today, right, Mitch?
Yeah, no at the close. We're wrapping it up. I'm going to be probably heading to some CMT studying action. Super exciting.
When's the exam?
December 10th or 11th, so that weekend. So
do you write that like virtually, or how do you write that?
No, so you could do it virtually, but they do some crazy stuff. So I actually go towards a testing center and do it in the actual testing center. It's a 4-hour test, so it ain't short by any means. But hey, got to try to get up those skills, just like you guys out there. Keep working on those skills. That's why we're here today, right? At the end of the day, we're not just here to just have fun, even though we do have fun. But definitely have a great weekend, team. Hope you guys have a good trading today. And like always, you guys have a great weekend too, Joel and Dennis. Enjoy what you guys do. Like always,
go Blue. Got to beat the Bucks.
We'll see it. We'll see it. Will they get to the playoffs?
I'm actually scared for you, but you know what? They both kind of limping into the game because they both almost lost that last week. So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll
Shout
see
out to you
what,
guys.
we'll see what Harbaugh has for us. All right. Go Blue.
Definitely. Last thing I'll leave you guys off with, if you guys want to go ahead and get a discount on Benzinga Pro, go ahead and check it out here. I'll throw up the discounts here. You guys can get a 45% off on the monthly, 60% off the yearly. So check out, of course, Benzinga Pro. Check it out, team. We'll throw it up there, and we'll see you guys, like always, back here on Monday. Hit the thumbs up if you guys at least enjoyed getting a little pre-market prep this morning. Like always, I'll see you next time, team. Hit the like on your way out.